Hello, my name is Pan. My student number name is 2020117141. I think one of the biggest problems in Korea is the low employment rate. The problem has been getting worse lately and will be worse in the future. Even after graduating from Seoul National University, which are commonly called the best university, they are equally unable to get a job. The biggest reason for the rising unemployment rate is the poor economy in society. If society's economy gets bad, it will not try to hire many employees. That would result in an increase in youth unemployment. According to the survey, the youth unemployment rate in our country is about 9.3%. The number of unemployed young people is increasing every year and is expected to increase further. In the end, in order for the unemployment rate to fall, the economy must improve. Another reason why youth unemployment is so high is that they only prepare large companies. These days, we can get a job because we have a big dream and too many thought that we can't get a job unless we are a big company. Lower employment rates lead to late marriages and low birth rates without having children. This low birth rate caused the aging problem. Therefore, the low employment rate is a big problem in our society. Finally, the unemployment rate is increasing due to mechanization because the use of machines is more efficient and can save human rights expense. One student, what other problems do you think there are in our country?
I think low birth rate causes by low employment rate. I chose the topic problem of Korea. I think low birth rate is the most critical problem of Korea. Children are future. Without children, we can't develop the country. But Korea's birth rate is 0.92. This is the lowest birth rate in the world. Also, Korea is the only country which has under one birth rate per married couple. This is trouble. Excessively high education cost and low quality of life cause this. Bad effect of birth rate means high taxes. High taxes mean good country for old. This means aging society and low productivity. Low birth rate has much problem than this. First of all, we lose our power. Korea is very complicated environment. North Korean threat, China's suppressive act is are famous. Korea's low birth rate means lack of soldiers. This will cause more threat of other country. Second, our children will abandon their country. I think no one wants to be a slave. But if Korea's birth rate become lower without any solution, one man should be burden one old. It means high taxes. No one wants to pay high taxes. So our children will immigrate to other country. I think if we can't solve this problem, Korea will be collapse.
2020-14-350. My name is hyun. I presentation about Korean education. Korean children receive a wrong education. With the development of artificial intelligence, what humans can do is becoming increasingly limited. So children should be educated to develop creativity. In the future, intelligence will be able to solve complex calculations and text problems, as well as simple calculations. This is why we should not just let children study at school or private education. Korean parents rely too much on private education. Private education in Korea allows students to learn the same content over and over again, so it reduces their chances of thinking for themselves. If children have fewer opportunities to learn for themselves, it is also difficult to develop creativity. Let's think about the ripple effect that a child with high creativity will have. Suppose the child grows up and starts a company based on his creativity. Even if the probability is 101%, a company can solve more than 100 jobs. Creative education is the fundamental way to solve the low employment rate. So, how do you do creative education? Creative education is not just about giving blocks and asking them to make what they want. I think creative education is about allowing children to think of various solutions to one problem. Education in Korean school presents only one way to one problem. We should present education that allows them to think in many ways about one problem. This process can allow students to develop their own ways of thinking and approach other problems like this. If students learn how to solve a problem on their own, they can grow up and think about how to solve Korea's problems. The current education puts stress on children for college entrance. Currently, Korean children race for colleges since them in elementary school to high school. These are the reasons why students feel lost when they go to college. As an example, Kai's University in Korea has a high suicide rate. The reason for this phenomenon is that parents force their children to learning. Children whose parents have studied under pressure since childhood do not know how to study on their own. Children who can't learn on their own cannot keep up with the amount of study at the university.
One of the social problems in Korea is the high suicide rate. The suicide rate problem is closely related to the employment and education problems. South Korea has consistently ranked the number one suicide rate among OECD countries. It is very pity for them to choose death on their own. So why do they choose death on their own? Most of the causes of suicide are depression. And I think this depression is due to social structure problems. Therefore, high suicide rate is serious social problem. Especially, Korea has high suicide rate in the elderly compared to other age groups. The elderly in Korea are the poorest among OECD countries because social policy for the elderly is inefficient. Also, the suicide rate among youth and middle age is not low. Youth commit suicide due to excessive competition, and people in middle age commit suicide because of job shortage. In order to lower the suicide rate, it is important to try to change nationally and personally. First, the government should enact excessive educational problems, not excessive competition. Then the government need to create jobs. Lastly, the government have to give the old man the basic living money. Most importantly, people of all age need to do something to achieve in order to avoid depression. It is also helpful to exercise regularly, and it is good way to meet and talk with your friends.